Evaluation versus judgment is something that it's one of the real foundational mind models that Blair teaches. And you pretty much can't apply any of the mind models unless you are evaluating in it, or at least to be able to know if you're applying it effectively. It's something that I often have to go back to because no matter what, we can never really escape judgment. It's part of us. It's a reaction that's very common for us to have, and I've had it a lot. Whether I'm judging myself, some of the people that were on today, that was a big thing for them. That's also been a big thing for me, being very hard on myself and judging myself. And if I don't get out of that, if I just keep judging myself, all I'm going to do is downward spiral. So getting to evaluation has always been important, and really looking at that and starting to apply the skill sets. And last week we talked about effective versus ineffective language. That ties in there as well. And just getting into a thought process that includes evaluating. One of the things that I do if I'm feeling like really down and low, and that's usually after I beat the crap out of myself, I have to start asking myself a lot of questions to kind of turn it around. And they've got to be evaluating questions. So what worked? And really answer that question as many times as possible. Because usually if I'm feeling like that and I ask myself that question initially, I'll come up with a rational answer, but I don't really feel like it's true or it's congruent. And I've got to keep working at it to really have the process hit home for me. So if you're feeling that way, I would suggest really focusing on asking yourself effective questions, and don't stop asking yourself until you've gotten into a much better flow of thinking. And it's obvious when you do, because it's very slow at first, or at least for me sometimes. And once I do that and I get on a roll, then everything starts to flow and I just feel a heck of a lot better afterwards.
And it doesn't take that long, does it, when you start doing that? Like, if you are asking yourself questions and you're in a stuck state there, 10, 15 minutes and you're out. Is that what you're finding now?
Yeah, like if I sat with that process for 10 to 15 minutes, I'd definitely get out. Again, but sometimes that's actually the work, to stay with the process. So that's the part I was trying to hit home. What was that?
Yeah, I said absolutely it is. That's where the work is. That discipline to stick with that. Just use the mind model. It will work. That's but you got to use it. Mm-hmm. Sorry, keep on going.
Yeah, and dig deeper with your answers to those questions. So you might have some surface level stuff at first of what worked. Then if you have a response to that, what about that worked as well? And I've used that sort of question, and I can go a lot deeper with it and then get even more specific, and it becomes a more specific evaluation where I can actually pull away some good points that are effective for me. So hopefully that makes sense.
It seems to be. Shelley, I also wanted to say thank you so much for your comments here. My takeaway from tonight is the need to evaluate self. And that is so huge. Most people, as you said here, they evaluate other people and judge themselves. That's incredibly common. The other one is that they judge themselves and everybody else. That's even more common. And the other one is just doing everything focused on everybody else and not you. And that's unfortunately pretty common. So evaluating yourself actually is the only way, like I know, to build self-confidence on a consistent, predictable basis. So that my takeaway from tonight is the need to evaluate self. That not evaluating is a major hang-up for many people, which is bang on, and that he meets, works with her. So Matt worked with. So sorry, I didn't understand the last bit. Anyway, thank you so much. Feeling better and lighter. Hey, glad I could be helpful there, Katrina and John. Would it be considered offensive to engage in judgment rather than pushing it down? You know what? Usually it is ineffective to do judgment. Pushing it down is not effective. But if you start evaluating and sharing, you can get into giving and receiving feedback. And giving and receiving feedback and sharing that feedback is, again, about making it externally verifiable for somebody else, as opposed to pushing it down. Depends on the relationship that you have, and is this a hill you want to die on or not with that relationship? Such as negative, positive perceptions. You know what? If you know that these are negative and positive perceptions, you can make comments on them, and you can move yourself to a more neutral position of just evaluating the probability of what that perception is doing, and sometimes what it does to you and how that works. So going through the why and getting to the what. I mean, negative, positive, that's absolutely true. We want to go through or switch. We can actually flip whys to what's in our minds, and goes from why and having the motivation and that past thing of what are they doing to me, where you're judging yourself and being judgmental of others, and being defensive is a common consequence of being in a why, and going into a what. What is their intent? And understanding sorry, and understanding intentions. Like, and even asking somebody, so what's your intention? Occasionally Melissa and I have said to each other, when we're getting into a spat and we're not applying our mind models, and we want to get out of it. So is it your intention to pick an argument with me? Is that your intention? And occasionally it is, because I'm so frustrated or she's so frustrated. But 99% of the time, it's 95% of the time, the answer is no, it's not our intention. So we then drift back into using the mind models, and within minutes, we're done. We're moving on. So it's pretty cool. So it helps with the marriage in a lot of ways. And a lot of my clients have shared that with me, that mind models help in marriages a lot. Okay, with that, I think it's time to wrap this puppy up and call it a night here. I think we've not beat this one to death exactly, but we've opened the can of worms on this one rather deeply and gone fishing well. So we've pulled up some good results with this. Anyway, for me, thank you very much for coming out tonight, and we look forward to you guys being on another webinar in the near future, if not next week's. And next week's is going to be pretty special as well. So anyway, we'll see you next time. Absolutely, Shelley. Great show. Yeah, really, I feel like saying that. And we'll see you same time, same place, same station next week. Trevor, any comments?
Nope, we're good to go. Thanks for coming out, guys.
Thanks, Beth. You guys take care. Bye for now.